Premiering October 21 is The Guilty on Netflix, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. Is this movie any good? Is it intense? Should you watch it? I've got an opinion that may not be favorable coming up next. The Guilty is on Netflix. It was made by director Anton Fuqua, master director, lots of experience, and stars Jake Gyllenhaal as a 911 operator in Los Angeles during the time of raging fires, and he is actually an ex-cop demoted to 911 operator, and what we come to find out is he's got a lot of personal problems, he's on trial for something, and the trial will start the next day after the day we see in the movie. Now, about 10 minutes in, I had no idea what this movie is about, and I recognized, oh, this is a classic stuck-in-a-box movie. And these are the kinds of movies where the entire movie, for the whole runtime, the character is in one location, and the camera and you, the viewer, are in that location for the entire runtime. The great-granddaddy of stuck-in-a-box movies, one of them is Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. This movie, he's in the 911 call operating center for the entire movie, and you get mostly him. There's a couple other actors in this movie, but mostly him fielding phone calls, and all we hear are voices on the phone. That may not seem too interesting, but there's a lot of tension in this movie because this character takes a 911 call from a woman who he thinks is abducted. She says she's abducted. He's trying to help her out, and so he scrambles, makes lots of phone calls, and over the course of the movie, he's going to try and rescue this woman and help her out. Lots of stumbling blocks, lots of problems, but he tries his best. And of course, there are reasons he tries his best. For one, he's an ex-cop and he's got family problems and a lot of psychological issues that are related to the abduction case. It turns out this is a remake of a 2018 Danish movie, which I haven't seen. My guess is it's a lot better than this. The movie is a little too plodding, I thought, even though it's only 80 minutes long. I didn't think some of the character development was that interesting. The story of the abduction case does get interesting. There are plot twists to it, but it takes a little while for that to take place. I frankly was a little bit bored by this one, and there's a much better movie that came out 7 years before. It's really the nice older brother of this movie called Locke. Locke, L-O-C-K-E, stars Tom Hardy, who drives in a car from one location to another, and all you see in this movie is Tom Hardy in a car for 80 minutes talking on the phone. That is a lot like what's going on in this movie, but I just frankly like Locke better. So I would rather send you to that one, or maybe the Danish remake before you watch this. There are some clever things in here. There are raging LA fires in the background, in the backdrop to this. There's an epigram from the book of John, from the Bible, and you know it's going to be about guiltiness of some kind because of the title. Unfortunately, this movie is in a trend of movies where they're spoiling, in part, the movie by titling what they do, and I do not understand that in the last 5 or so years. I thought spoiler etiquette was to not tell what's in the movie, even if the movie's old. But these days, with trailers giving away the final shots of the movie, giving away basically the whole plot, now we're getting titles of movies that spoil it. So I just simply don't understand this, and I'm sorry, once you watch this movie, you kind of know what The Guilty is going to mean. For all those reasons, I give this movie 2.5 stars. It's average, nice noir, it's sort of a detective story, but not something I'd rewatch, and I'd rather watch these other stuck-in-a-box movies, which I've mentioned, of which there are many, many, many. Hitchcock did a couple with Rear Window and Rope, so go to those if you like this sort of thing.